Welcome to Kahuku, Hawaii, on the North Shore of Oahu, where today we have a special 24/7 sports recruiting announcement. You may remember this backdrop from one of the most scenic backdrops we've ever had for a 24/7 recruiting announcement. Tassili Akana choosing the University of Texas over Oklahoma during the 2023 early signing period. Today, we have two of Kahuku's best, two of the state of Hawaii's best, Carvalho and Aiden Manutai, who will be announcing their college decision here in just a moment. We're going to start with Mana first. We're going to go to Aiden second. But before we get to the breakdown of each player, I just want to welcome there. Mana, what's this experience been like, narrowing all yours down to the one that you're going to pick today?
With the four schools, I mean, it was the schools that talked to me the most and showed me the most love and wanted me to come in and play with a great coaching staff. So that's why I chose these four schools.
All right, Aiden, you narrowed it down to a final five. How was the process getting from all those early offers down to these five schools?
The coaches made it pretty simple for me. Basically, everyone who believed in me, and they pretty much showed it. So that's how I narrowed it down.
All right. Monty, you're down to the University of Arizona, Boise State, Nevada, and University of Utah. You've been through this process a little bit longer because you watched your brother Kai go through it before he signed with Utah. Your father played for the Utes as well. What's it been like going through this process as a recruit of your own, but having a little bit of family experience?
Having family experience was, I think, the best because with family experience, I know what to avoid and what to go into. So having the pros and cons to it, it was a better process to go through than not knowing what to do.
You narrowed it down to Arizona, Boise State, Nevada, and Utah. Narrowing it down to these four schools, taking official visits to each of these four schools. What was it about each school that made them one of your final four?
These four schools made the final four because, I mean, three of the schools, Nevada, Boise, and Arizona, they all have new coaching staffs. So with the transfer portal and coaches switching, I'll be their first recruiting class. So if they end up leaving, they'll probably take their first recruiting class with them. So that's why I made it special, and they're all great people.
You have two very important people in your life to your right. We can see one of them on camera, the other one we can't. But I know you have a number of people here. There's probably 100 people out here today here to support you. Before we get to your decision, before we get to where you're choosing, I know you want to take this opportunity to thank all those people that have been there along the way for you.
I'd like to thank, of course, my parents for raising me and my sister and my brother. They've done a good job to help me become the person I am today, and all my friends who been around me and helping me become a better football player and just having good memories. And of course, all the coaches and like football coaches, track coaches, volleyball coaches, and all of that. So it's a blessing for you guys to be in my life.
All right. Well, with all that being said, this is the moment everybody's tuned in for. Aiden, you're going to be in a second, Aiden. Mana, where are you going to be spending your college football career?
I'll be spending the next 4 years at the University of Utah. Go Utes, baby.
There it is. The University of Utah once again comes to the North Shore to land a Carvalho. 2 years after Kai signs with the Utes, just a few years after Pops played for Utah, you're heading there to the University of Utah. You can hear the Utah fight song in the background. At the end of the day, Mana, what was it about the Utes that made them the pick for you?
Utah was the best fit for me because I had the same opportunities as I did with all the other schools and having a lot of family there. And I was hoping to go to another school, but I'll be there before my brother so I can make a name for myself before he gets there.
The other day when we were talking about your decision, you made it a point to say that your brother's a receiver. You're a safety. You're going to get to light him up coming across the middle. And you said in that moment, you're going to be thinking of all those thoughts of when he was mean to you as a kid, and now you can legally hit him. How exciting for that first time you're going to see him coming across the middle in practice?
Oh, he's going to get it big time.
Mom and Dad, you obviously have the history with the University of Utah. Pops, you played there. Mom, you've already got one that's going there. Now you got him. Who's going to get there before? What does this moment mean to you guys?
Oh, this is so special. My daughter, she's already at University of Utah. She's going to be a senior, and then Kai will be there next May. So this is very special. We love the coaching staff. We have lots of family in Utah, so I'm happy for him. Thank you so much for everybody for coming and supporting him, loving him. Thank you so much.
University of Utah was a very special place for me. You know, the current head coach, Whittingham, was our defensive coordinator, and some of the other coaches on the coaching staff, Coach Lewis Powell, we were teammates there back in the day. And so Mana will be, I know he will be watched over very well. For 30 years, I've known this coaching staff and the people that he'll be involved in, and there's no other place that as a parent, I would want my son to go, because I know what they're going to do for him, and that they'll be watching over him on and off the field. And so it's been a blessing for him to be recruited by not only Utah, but all the other schools that believed in him and recruited him hard. But at the end of the day, we could only choose one school, and Coach Whittingham, Coach Morgan Scally, the head coach in waiting has been recruiting Mana hard. And so I can sleep good at night knowing that he'll be taken care of over there.
All right, last question, Mana. You mentioned the other day, obviously, the news was announced officially last week that Coach Scally is officially the head coach in waiting for Coach Whittingham. Coach Whittingham said that, he may be there a couple of years, but he may not be there in 2027. They play Miami. Coach Whittingham recruited your brother, recruited you. Coach Scally may very well be your head coach. How excited are you to play for one of the best head coaches in all of college football, but then also for Coach Scally, who will eventually be the head coach at Utah?
It'll be a blessing because Coach Scally, he's one of the best safety coaches out there. So I get to learn from him, and then knowing that he'll be the next head coach, I don't have to worry about coaches changing and stuff like that.
All right, there you have it. Mana Carvalho, everyone, headed to the University of Utah. But as LeBron James once said many years ago when he was with Miami, not one announcement today, we got two. Let's head it over to Aiden Manutai, who will be announcing his own decision here in just a moment. Now, Aiden, you had a baseball background. You actually started out your career at Mililani, and baseball was a big emphasis for you. You made the move to Kahuku going into your sophomore year. You've been a part of 2 state championships, but more importantly, your recruitment has really exploded over the last few years. What has this process been like for a guy who thought he was going to be a baseball player to now getting to choose from 5 schools to play his college football?
Honestly, I didn't know I was going to be in this position. I always looked up to guys like Yalo Santiago and all those other guys. So being in this position is very blessed. I'm very fortunate to, have these opportunities, especially with the support of my parents and, everybody in the back over here. It plays a huge part in this process.
You started out, I think, with offers as a receiver. Ultimately, schools wanted to settle in as a safety. You've narrowed it down to University of Arizona, to California, to Nebraska, to Tennessee and Washington. A couple Big 10 schools, a Big 12 school, and the SEC. You got to see the whole country. What was it like going through the official visit process and just getting to see what all these different conferences in college football had to offer?
It was huge. Never really thought, SEC, Big 10, Big 12 is like going to be a part of the process, but seeing the facilities, the coaches, and how everybody runs things is very big to me and my family. It definitely took a hit on us, on our bodies for all the traveling. So it was a pretty good opportunity.
All right. So in just a moment, you're going to be able to reveal to the audience where that opportunity is going to take you. But before we get to that, again, we mentioned there's 100 people here to support both Mana and yourself for your announcement. And I know you want to thank those people that have been a part of this process.
Yeah, like I said before, everybody that's here played a huge part of my process. And, the saying is true. It takes a village to grow up one. So thank you, everybody who's here. Thank all the coaches who coached before me. I took a piece of everything that you guys taught me. That's pretty much it.
All right, Aiden. Well, this is the moment everybody tuned in for. Where are you going to be playing your college football?
For the next 3 to 4 years, I'll be attending California University. Yes, sir.
All right, there it is. Aiden Manutai headed to the Golden State to play at the University of California in Berkeley. The ACC coming to Hawaii for the third time this week, and the second time that Cal's come to Hawaii for a commitment. And at the end of the day, what was it about Cal? Nebraska was in there. We know that Tennessee made an impression. Washington had that last visit. But at the end of the day, ultimately, Cal was the pick. Why was Cal the pick for you?
It was definitely the hardest decision I ever had. Every school had their own opportunity. I just felt Cal was the place I needed to be, especially with Jaren and LeBron going to Cal. I know they have the same mentality and the same goals as me, so that's the people I want to be surrounded by. And Coach Trey and TB and the whole staff made it easy for me.
You know, Mata, this week when we were at the school, you hadn't even told Max, your teammate, that you're going to Utah. We took a picture of the two of you guys flashing the U. You did the same thing with LeBron. Hadn't even given a hint that you were going to Cal. Neither of your teammates knew where you guys were heading. At least the other day they didn't. You're going to have the opportunity to play with LeBron at Cal. What does that mean to get to play not just this season, but in the future with him as well?
It's huge. You already have a tight relationship, so it's going to be pretty easy. It's going to make the process easy, and everybody gets homesick from Hawaii, but I'm pretty sure I won't get homesick with those guys. So,
Mom and Dad, you have been a part of this process. You guys got to travel kind of all over the country for these official visits. He's going to be playing pretty close to home, still a little bit of a flight. But what does this mean to you guys to see your son go on to play in the ACC and to play at the University of California with the academics that also come along with Cal football?
This journey actually, honestly, has been pretty amazing, stressful and amazing. We're very grateful and blessed for it. We're excited for Cal. They have a really great academic program along with their coaching staff. So we're really excited when he made the decision to go to Cal.
We're just grateful that wherever he chose would make him happy, and that would make us happy. So.
And Mount, I got to ask you, because I didn't ask you about Max. What do you think he's going to say, knowing that you're going to be heading to Utah with him as well?
He'll be excited. I mean, he'll be going on his mission, so he'll have 2 years. I'll have 2 years left before he comes back. So,
all right, you guys have won the last 3 state champions. You've been a part of 2 of them. You've been a part of 3 of them. How do we like Kahuku's chances of making it 4 straight? And being a part of one more state title before your time is done?
We just put in the work in the off season. We'll go from there.
All right. What about you, Mano? What's your take on Kahuku's chances at another state title?
Probably the same as Aiden said. Just keep working hard. And last year was in the past, so this is a new year. We didn't win anything yet, so time to go win one.
All right. Well, before we wrap that up, we have one more special announcement to make. Today, as a part of the Polynesian Bowl selection committee, both Aiden and Mana have been selected to play in the 2025 Polynesian Bowl in Honolulu come January. The first 2 players from the state champion, Kahuku, I know you'll be the second one in your family to play in it. Aiden, the first one from your family. But what does this opportunity mean to play your last football game before you go off to college in your backyard at the Polynesian Bowl?
It'll be fun, especially playing here and against the best of the best. So it gets like a little taste of college football. So we can play the best of the best and show what we are about.
All right, Aiden, you too. You'll play your last game as a high school player before you go to college here in your backyard in Kamehameha High School at the 25 Polynesian Bowl. What does that mean?
It's definitely one of those boxes to check. So pretty proud for that opportunity. You just see all the greats go through Polynesian Bowl. So that's a pretty huge opportunity for me to just play with those other guys and compete.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, Mana Carvalho headed to the University of Utah. Aiden Manutai headed to the University of California. Thanks for being here a part of today. Now we go to our national recruiting analyst, Greg Biggins, who saw both these guys this week, has seen a number of these guys over the course of the last few months. Here, Greg, thanks for joining us. I wish you were here sitting to my side like you were earlier in the week, but break down what University of Utah is getting in Mana.
So I love the kid. I think he's one of the most versatile players. You mentioned it, we talked off air a little bit. This is a guy who scored touchdowns in 5 different ways last year, whether it was rushing, receiving it, defensively, multiple pick six, and also a punt and a kickoff return. So just a dynamic athlete. And I honestly don't use this term very often, but I think he can actually play both sides of the ball in college, not just in high school. I think at the college level, we've seen Utah do it before, right? So I think he's got that ability to do it. Might project better as a nickel or even a corner safety, somewhere in the defensive secondary. But I just love his all-around game. I love the makeup. Obviously, he has great family ties. We love the brother Kai. Uncle's the head coach. Pops played at Utah. Again, cliche. He checks off a lot of boxes in terms of his compete level as well. Intangibles, no mission for him, so he'll be out there early and ready to go. And I'm excited to watch him in the next couple of years.
We were talking earlier this week about how Mana kind of reminds us of Kai, but bigger and stronger. We knew what kind of electric player that Kai was, but with Mana, he's going to make his bones on the defensive side of the ball. And you mentioned he could play on either side of the ball, but with Utah, with Morgan Scalley set to take over, he is the DB coach, the defensive coordinator, the safeties coach. How excited do you think Morgan Scalley is to have him in his own room before he becomes the head man?
I mean, I think he's very excited. I mean, Mana's a football player, right? And that's one of those terms that we use for a player who just does kind of everything well. And again, mentioned the makeup, mentioned the intangibles. Obviously, you saw him so well-spoken. Both Aiden and Mana were so well-spoken. They're highly competitive, coming from a great program like Kahuku. He's going to come in and he'll be battle-tested, right? They played, Mater Dei and Bosco last year. They have Mater Dei at home this year. So he's going to come in early. And I could definitely see him competing for early playing time. At worst, I want to see him on special teams, kind of running down, covering kicks, and also returning some punts and kicks. So all-around football player, great kid, and an easy guy to root for me.
We got the news the other day from Aiden that it was going to be Cal, and a little bit of a surprise because he said that Nebraska was right there for him. Their defensive backs coach announced his resignation over the weekend. Cal with a rally. Got LeBron Williams at a kind of a surprise about a month ago. They got Jaron to announce on Monday, but what is Cal getting when they're getting an Aiden Manutai commitment?
Yeah, how about those Bears, right? The fighting, give our boys some love. The fighting Marshall Charrington's over there doing some work. All 3 of those guys can play. Talking about Jaron, LeBron, and obviously now with Aiden. To me, he's one of the most complete safeties. And I don't want a guy. This football is now different. You can't have those guys like you did 20 years ago who are just specifically safeties. This is a guy who can play some corner as well. And you see it on the tape. And he'll line up out wide, one-on-one with no help, and he'll lock a guy up. He's really good. He's really rangy. He's got excellent ball skills. He had the big pick 6 against St. John Bosco last year. So, again, a complete football player. He's got range. He can play some deep center field. He can move him in the box. He has that physicality, right? With Kahuku kids, you're going to get 2 things. Highly competitive and very, very tough, nasty, physical. They play angry, righteous anger, right? They play with a little bit of an edge. So with Aiden, he's got the ability to be a deep safety and coverage. He can also go one-on-one. You can put him in the box. He can play almost like another linebacker. So he never needs to leave the field. I love the complete package with Aiden. Another guy, you saw well-spoken, great kid, very humble, but he's got that edge to him. And I'm excited for his future in Berkeley.
This is me for Cal as they head to the ACC, as they continue to embolden their roster for that move to be able to come and get a top 10 player in the state of Hawaii. They've gotten some talent from the state of California, but now 3 players from the state of Hawaii. And you heard Aiden mention Terrence Brown, Trey Watson were a big part of the reason. Does this give Cal continued success in the state of Hawaii in years to come, in your opinion?
Absolutely. And I think one thing about, the Hawaii boys is they kind of like to go somewhere where there's a little bit of familiarity, right? With Polynesian culture, you kind of want to go somewhere where you know some people. And I think if you want to find a program in Hawaii to build a pipeline into, how about Kahuku? How about those Red Raiders, man? That is one school that if you can get 1 or 2 guys from that school every year, you're getting some dudes. And, Cal is one of those schools that has 2 legit DB coaches, and they recruit everybody together. So you're constantly, hearing about them and what a great job they do. And so I know they're excited about Aiden. Like you mentioned, man, a little bit of a rally. Nebraska, which also has done a great job recruiting the islands of Hawaii. I think we all thought maybe he might be a Husker, but Cal was able to rally for all 3 of those guys, Jaron and LeBron too. So nice job by the Bears. Nice job by that coaching staff.
Well, you heard the news that both of these guys are going to be playing in the Polynesian Bowl. Greg, you'll be joining me. You and Blair and Gulo both will be joining me in a couple of months back here in Hawaii. We're not far from our guy, Brandon Akonda's house. Tassili kind of set the bar high with this backdrop when he announced a couple of years ago. You know the tradition history of Kahuku football. We know the history and tradition of football in the state of Hawaii. This week, we've been able to see plenty of good players, plenty of talent. Our third and fourth announcements this week. Thanks for joining me today, Greg. Thanks for you, those that have been watching us. We appreciate you guys sticking around, watching the 24/7 Sports Recruiting Channel on YouTube. Plenty more announcements coming in the next week as we get to the busiest season of the month, the busiest month of the season, I guess you could call it, July, as we're just weeks away from college football season. Thanks for joining us. Shout out to Nick Curran, our producer, for staying up on the mainland. Thanks for watching. So long.